So during this section we're now going to look at probably one of the most destructive shots that people get when they're playing golf, and that's going to be the shank shot. So the shank is the part of the golf club that is properly named as the heel or the hosel. So this section of the golf club here with a curved neck into it here joins into the head. If the golf ball is hit from that section, it produces a very destructive shot that tends to go very low, shoots off to the right hand side, can sometimes actually go quite a long way, hence the destructive nature of it, because it goes a long way to the right hand side offline this way, and is accompanied often by a kind of a high pitched clicky noise. Often people will feel the shank shot, they'll hear the shank shot, but they might not necessarily associate it with it coming from this part of the golf club. I think the easiest way for me to show you this is probably to demonstrate the shank shot, so I'm going to go ahead and hit one, then show you a couple of reasons of how and why it happens, and then maybe a couple of corrections for how we can stop it happening. So in this instance I'm going to actually set the ball up right on the neck of the golf club, so it sits right into the heel there, then go ahead and make my normal swing. And we get that shot there that scoots off the neck of the golf club, runs out that way. I could feel the club trying to twist in my hands, and I could hear the sound of the golf shot, so it doesn't sound like a good strike, and that's going to be the shank. So now looking at a couple of common causes for the shank, why the shank happens. As I just did in that instance there, I obviously set the ball up into the neck of the golf club. Now that would be a very obvious reason to cause the shank, and it's probably not something that you're overly doing, but just double check that if you are shanking the golf ball, just double check that you're setting it up right into the middle of the golf club in the address position. So once we've got ourselves set up here, the next thing would be to check that we're not too close to the golf ball when we're standing up. So if we were addressing the ball this way and there's no room between the hands and the legs, we could find that during the swing the hands get pushed outwards away from the body, and that would cause the shank shot. So going back to the fundamentals when we first started this section, we'd be looking at how far back from the golf ball we should be standing. The club drops down here 1 inch, 2 inches above my kneecap. That means that I'm far enough back and I should have enough room to bring the club down on the right line and not push it out towards the heel. Next thing we'd be looking for here would be maybe where the body weight is. A lot of people think that if they're shanking the ball they must be falling forwards, so what they're going to do is sit back on the golf ball, try and stay on their heels and try and lean back away from the golf ball. But actually if your body weight's in the heels, it really only has one place to go, and that's going forwards. So if you lean back to start with, you tend to find that during your swing at some point you're going to rock forwards onto your tiptoes and again push the heel out towards the golf ball. So the only real answer is to make sure that you're balanced. Your body weight starts off 50-50 left and right, 50-50 front and back, and you're stable throughout your swing, and you should be able to maintain a nice poised, stable, balanced follow-through position as well, and that will also help us to make sure that we're not falling forwards into the ball to shank it. One other reason, probably the major cause of the shank shot, is very similar to a slice. So a lot of people who slice the golf ball will also every now and then throw the shanks in there as well, and this happens because although the setup might be quite good, the swing path is coming over what we talk about as outside the line. So the club comes up, comes outside the line of the golf ball. So from here for the club to travel towards the ball, it's going to travel on this path, chopping across and actually delivering the heel of the golf club first. So the heel of the golf club comes leading into the ball, it's going to hit that edge before it gets to the centre of the club, and that is a major reason for why the shank shot and the slice shot are so closely associated to each other. So let's try and make sure that as we take in the club up, we then bring it back down on the same line to deliver it nice and cleanly into the back of the golf ball. So if you feel that you are shanking the golf ball for that reason, you could also check out the slice section or how to cure your slice section, and make sure you're following the drills that are associated with curing your slice as well.